Hey there, story lovers! Welcome back to our channel. Today, I've got a heartwarming tale for you about a little squirrel with a very big heart and an even bigger appetite for apples. Let's get cozy and dive into the story of Benny's big apple surprise. In a lush, green forest lived a cheerful little squirrel named Benny. Now, Benny had a favorite food. Can you guess what it was? That's right. Apples! Benny loved all kinds of apples. He loved the big, shiny, red ones. He loved the small, tangy green ones. And oh, how he loved the sound of a perfectly crunchy apple! Every morning, he would scamper out of his cozy little home in the big oak tree, his fluffy tail twitching with excitement, ready for his daily apple hunt. He knew all the best spots in the forest, where the apple trees grew tall and their branches hung heavy with fruit. One bright, sunny morning, as Benny was scurrying through a meadow, he saw it. It wasn't just any apple, it was a magnificent, giant, ruby red apple, glistening in the morning sun. It was the largest, most perfect apple Benny had ever seen in his entire life. His eyes widened, and his little squirrel heart thumped with joy. Wow! He squeaked. That's the one! That's the king of all apples! He knew he had to have it. He just had to get it back to his home. So, Benny got to work. First, he tried to push it. He put his little shoulder against the giant apple and pushed with all his might. Hengag, the apple didn't even wobble. It was just too heavy. Okay, plan B, Benny said to himself, catching his breath. He went to the other side and tried to pull it. He grabbed a small leaf stem and pulled, his little feet digging into the soft earth. But nope, the apple stayed right where it was. It was simply too big. Benny didn't give up. He was a determined little squirrel. He decided to try rolling it. He ran around the apple, trying to get it to move, pushing and nudging it. He managed to make it wiggle, just a tiny bit, but rolling it all the way back to his tree seemed impossible. He sat down, feeling a little defeated, his tail drooping. How would he ever get this amazing apple home? It was the best apple in the world, and he couldn't even move it. Just then, a few of his forest friends happened to come by. First, there was Rosie the rabbit, hopping along with her long ears twitching. Then came Pip the bird, who chirped a happy tune as he landed on a nearby branch. Soon after, Hedgie the hedgehog waddled out from behind a bush, his little nose sniffing the air. Finally, Willow the graceful deer stepped gently into the meadow. They all saw Benny sitting by the giant apple, looking quite sad. "What's wrong, Benny?" Rosie asked, her nose twitching with concern. Benny pointed a paw at the giant fruit. "I found the most wonderful apple in the whole wide world," he sighed. "But it's too big. I can't get it home." Pip chirped. "That is a big apple." Hedgie and Willow nodded in agreement. They looked at the apple, and then they looked at their friend. "Benny, want some help?" Willow asked gently. A big smile spread across Benny's face. "Would you really?" he asked, his hope returning. "Of course!" they all chimed in. So, the friends came up with a plan. Together, they lined up behind the apple. "Ready," said Benny. 1, ... 2, ... 3, ... push. With a mighty heave-ho, they all pushed together. Rosie pushed with her strong back legs. Pip flew and nudged from above. Hedgie curled into a ball and rolled against it, and Willow used her gentle strength to guide it. Slowly, but surely, the giant apple began to roll. They rolled it through the meadow, over a little hill, and across a babbling brook. It was hard work, but together, it felt like a fun game. They laughed and cheered each other on. Finally, they arrived at Benny's big oak tree. The apple was safely at his home. Benny was so happy and grateful. He looked at the amazing apple, and then he looked at his wonderful friends who had helped him. He could have kept the entire apple for himself, but an idea sparked in his mind. A much better idea. Thank you so much, everyone. he said brightly. I couldn't have done it without you. And to show my thanks, I want to share this apple with all of you. Benny's friends were delighted. Benny scurried to get some plates made of leaves, and he carefully cut up the giant apple into big, juicy slices for everyone. They all sat together under the shade of the oak tree and munched on the delicious apple. It was sweet, it was crunchy, and it was the best apple any of them had ever tasted. The forest was filled with the happy sounds of friends enjoying a treat together. That day, they didn't just have an apple. They had the best apple feast ever. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the forest, Benny waved goodbye to his friends. He looked at the leftover slices of apple, enough to last him 4 days. But his heart was even fuller than his pantry. Benny learned a very important lesson that day. He learned that bringing home a big prize is great, but sharing it with the friends who help you along the way is what makes it truly special. Friends make everything easier, and they certainly make everything a whole lot sweeter. And so, whenever Benny found a particularly juicy apple, he always remembered to share, because he knew the best treats are the ones enjoyed with friends. I hope you enjoyed that story. It is a great reminder that working together and sharing with others is one of the best feelings in the world. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories. See you next time!